feel the sound is good. Let's see. Oh yeah, there you go. I'll get the mic check.
Work it.
I'll tell you, this is new. Yeah. So cool. Wow. We've been getting in on some heavy lessons.
Whoa,
I mean,
heavy to go.
The greatest of the greatest.
I think we're on chapter 16.
Right in his act. Yep, right
Life
in his
and
act.
work. Maybe now we can get around and see what life is about in our works.
Talk with us.
I had broke with them sisters coming last night. I school out and gave one of them cars.
Did you?
William Jones' daughter, one of his oldest daughters, and one of her friends.
Okay.
They couldn't believe my age at that time, man.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure. Okay. Who gonna bless us with the voice of Allah?
I'll be more than glad to. Because I want to get every goodness on the good book as I possibly can.
That's a positive viewpoint.
How about that?
That's what we talk about. That's a great outlook. We want to get as much as we can.
I want to get just as much as I can.
Much work.
I don't mean to be greedy, but when it comes down to greedy, I let it be for Allah.
Oh man.
How about that?
Oh man. Oh, praises be to Allah. Oh yes, we open our council meeting in the name of Allah. Peace and love to all. The father, the mother, and the child.
Right on. Beautiful. Look at that beautiful family. That sounds like family to me.
Love divine. I believe so. You want to double check? I have it from my knowledge. Yeah, we ready now.
You ready? Okay. We in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science.
Okay.
Circle 7. Divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And it begins, chapter 6, Life and Works of Jesus in India among the Muslims. Do I need to read that topic again? Did you catch anything? It said life and work of Jesus amongst who? The Muslims. But it said Muslim. I think somebody can spell it right. That's a big difference. Muslim and Christian.
And see, Muslim is the word there. Not Muslim.
Not M-U-S. I'm saying M-U-S.
Yeah.
M-O-S. And Mus. Okay.
And there's a difference.
Yeah.
When we are speaking in the Muslim, we are speaking different when we say the Muslim. The Muslims are the shrines. Those is where you understanding the Muslims' teachings. Because remember, this was revealed from the Muslims of the East, not the Muslims. So Muslims is key word for those who have extended past masonry. Mason or Mason's son. They go into a Muslim. They don't go into a Muslim. That's something totally different.
Yeah.
That links back to the Sufian. But those are orders to get ones to elevated state. So when we are being exposed by Noble Drew Ali to what he exposed us to was the hidden Roman secrets. So behind closed doors, this is what they call themselves, Muslims. So it's important for all Black people of America to know and understand that. That has nothing to do with the East. This has to do with Masonry. And when you're getting promoted from high degree in Masonry, your next highest degree is Muslim. So now when we're talking about Muslim, this is why we're going into this word Muslim.
I say it because most folks won't analyze it that way because of the fact that they think Muslim and Muslim is the same. But they're even spelled different. One, a royal prince of India, Ravana, in the south, Ravana was a man of wealth, and he was just, and with a band of Brahmin priests sought wisdom in the West. I wonder if all these billionaires that I know seeking any wisdom this day and time. And here's a wealthy man had the time or would take the time priests, not just him, band, sought wisdom in the West. You would think what they already have would be sufficient, but that goes to show you. I see why they seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, and the Bible says study to show thyself approval. So I guess that's what Ravana was trying to do. When among the Jewish priests and spoke, Ravana heard and was amazed. Sound like something caught his ear, didn't it? And when he asked who Jesus was, from he came and what he was, really said. 5, we call this child a light, the light of life. Ain't that beautiful? To light up the way of men and to redeem his people of Israel. We'll stop right there for a moment. And all I could think about was when he was talking about from whence we came, and it says, from the soil and the stuff. And then I'm thinking, here's someone explaining who Jesus was, and he was the day star. It's beautiful, huh? Beautiful. Said the light of life. Now, we need to talk on that a little bit. The light of life, because a lot of people just don't understand what the light of life is talking about.
And see, that's the beauty of having the foreknowledge. Now that we have, with all the studies that we have done and brought forth, and put on public record.
Right on.
These connections are dealing with us unifying all of the teachings to one harmony.
Right on.
To all the harmonies of life. So the Sufian teaches that the word for life is the name of Allah. And specifically, it's the 14th name of Allah. When we talking about the light of life, the 14th name of Allah. So this is the life, a certain life.
Yeah.
And this certain is for my.
Yes, sir.
This almighty knowledge of all law. Remember, this is the Muslim.
Oh.
So the Muslim is searching for all law.
Yeah, the rich man and that, no wonder. Can I pause? Can I jump in here just a moment? Because see, when I look at the rich man today, which go by the title of the name Tristan in Christianity. Instead of he seeking wisdom, he dropping bombs and giving away guns to kill others. And then I'm seeing another enemy that got the money, honey. They the bikers and promoters of the war. And they Christian as well. They ought to be all in church today. The sooner they get out, you better look out. Light unto the way of men, because they don't know where they're going. And look how confused they are today. No matter which way he turn or go, there's trouble. And it said to redeem. Redeem.
Not salvation. This is key wording.
Do we need to look that up and see?
Let's do it.
Get the meaning of redeem. Because see, we need to go.
Because some of us may not know.
Let's make sure, man.
Redeem, buy back, ransom, recover by purchase. This is what has to be done by the black people of America and all people who are under inequality. So we get a message here, and it's very clear. They're searching for a wealthy man is searching for something greater than his physical wealth. And he's a Muslim. And so it begins to show that there's something greater than physical.
Yeah.
And in this search, he is willing to go with a band of Brahmic priests.
Yeah.
That means the highest class of intellect and intelligence.
I thought about that.
In motion, they come into the West. So proverbially, we know where the West is. But in the text, it tells us to be the people of Israel.
Yeah.
So this is giving us keys because we have to keep remembering these are hidden lessons.
Yeah.
Hidden by the Muslims of the West.
I got you.
So now when we're talking about the people of Israel, the people of Israel are Muslims. This is what's being decoded to us.
That's right. That's what it's saying.
These people are Muslims, but they claiming not to be. So these are the people that cloak themselves, as the Sufian was saying. Those who cloak themselves as Muslims. We're talking about the Muslims. These are the people that cloak themselves as Muslims. They get their degree. This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad learned from Noble Drew Ali. Masons have to go to the upper room. So when they come to the 33rd degree, in order to seek greater light of the 3rd degree, the 33 and the 3rd, they have to go to the degree of Muslim. So this whole conversation that we're learning about is getting us the insight to what's been going on in the East, to the insight of why there's constricted rumors of wars. These things are now giving the insight to the construction of what's really going on. Because these people ain't never told you the truth.
That's right.
And you need the pure truth in order to heal and cure self, family, and all of the community. When I say community, is the whole planet. The whole universe is our community. So we have to understand it's a certain light that we have to have in order to raise the ethos back to its love of our beautiful black, beautiful woman.
Right on. That's what I was telling them last night. Them two sisters. Go ahead.
The love of our beautiful black woman is the epitome.
Yes,
is the imitation, the exactness of the divine love from the divine creator. So when we are speaking about this motion that we're reading about, this certain dimension is happening to give us insight to a thought pattern. And we finna get more into this thought pattern of redemption.
And I just want to point out one thing before we go any further. When it said redeemed and his people of Israel, he didn't say the people of Jews. Because see, now everybody fighting over who's who and proclaiming to be a Jew. And then everybody is over in Israel today. Hit fast forward, and when you go to Israel today, you got Jews, you got Muslim, and you got Christian. 3 different types of mankind, and each one to one. But I just want to point that out. Because there's a lot of invasion going on as I speak today. And at this very moment, somebody's land or somebody's peace is being invaded. It said, bring light to men. We're going to go on to number 6.
Mm-hmm. And see, we already covered that light. Just to cover our as we progress.
Right.
We don't want to forget what we have learned.
That's right. That's why I went back and pointed out when I read that about let me see where I read. Oh yeah, said this child was called the day star.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we learned earlier in the Sufa, it was talking about our beginning, and it said it's from the soil of the earth, and above the heaven it said the star. And then all I could think about was that as well.
Because remember in our earlier previous lessons, the Sister Beautiful said and read that the copy from its sacred pages all the messages of purity and love. That every man of earth will see the light, walk from the east coming to the west. See, because if we seeing that we don't have what Allah has given for all to have.
Right on.
See, because all, it has to be equal.
There you go.
So if anyone parading different sects, this is not equality.
That's right.
So we're talking about oneness. And this oneness is a light. And as we read in chapter 1 and chapter 2, the holy breath. The holy breath. This is that savior. Remember it said you have to reveal the light, you have to have the light.
Right on. That's what it says.
And it tells us that David, and remember King David.
King David, the Star of David.
Right.
There's another light going on.
And in just scriptural relation, let's just say scriptural kin, Jesus came from the root of David.
Right on.
So now when we talking about David, David of the light, is purity.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So we keeping all these connecting points.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
As we travel on the camel back.
Right on. Beautiful. 6. And Hillel told Ravana all about the child, about the prophecies concerning him, about the wonders of the night when he was born, about the visit of the Magian priest.
You said it, yep, Magian.
The Magian. Yeah.
So now we getting even closer insight.
We get so better because we talk about some
right
priests going on here.
Yes, we talking about priests. The priesthood.
Yeah.
This is always the highest class in any society.
I wonder why, since they have so many universities, schools, why stuff like this has been taught, but all the other BS is, none of that is taught. But we won't get into that. We're going to move on. 7. about the way in which he was protected from the wrath of evil men, about his flight to Egypt land, and how he then was serving his father as a carpenter in Nazareth.
Now, we want to connect all the lessons that we was learning before we connected on the anatomical level, because we are getting insights into wisdom of light. And we are getting insight also to who are Muslims. So we are getting insight that the Magian priests are Muslims. Now we getting an understanding about how did your soul become to be birthed into existence.
Yeah.
See, all of us, as we were saying, come from the Father. As we understand the lessons, who created you? Allah. Where's the closest place you can meet Allah? In the heart. So when we're talking about getting conceived, conception, when conception began, this is a life of your beginnings for you to become men and women. If you didn't go through the conception stage or process, you would not be a child, let alone to become men and women.
Right on.
So we're talking about a very important process here, because we just left the tools of the workshop of the mind. With the tools of the workshop of the mind, the spiritual tools, the spiritual compass, the spiritual square, the spiritual axe, the spiritual hammer, the spiritual plane, the spiritual line, the plummet, the chisel, and the saw. All these are used to build up the temple of the dome to purity of life. Now we're talking about conception, because when the child is born, that is also called crowning. Remember? That's called crowning when the head comes out of the womb. The first thing you see come out the womb is the head, that's right. And that's called the crowning. So the heart was in the womb being formed into the body beautiful. The soul into a body beautiful. This is what the tools of the workshop of the mind was doing. This is how the woman can go about her business thinking her thoughts, but the womb is forming the embryo. So now when we're talking about everything that we get into, when the sperm from the orgasm is going to conceive is to get an egg. So this is when we come into egg land, the land of eggs, or Egypt. So this is why we reading about the flight, because this is how we all had to fly to get the egg to be able to be with our Father. As a carpenter, meaning you build your temple, the Solomon's temple in Nazareth. And remember, we just went over the rites, the cleansing rites of the soul. The soul is the temple within. So this is all we talking about, the temple within being built by the tools of the workshop of the mind and getting birthed out into existence to be the Godhead. This is what we're speaking on.
When you mentioned that about his flight, and you know, when you think about back there at that time, wasn't no jet taking off. So that's a good way to point that out. Because you know, when no Delta Florida, that wasn't the flight he was talking about.
Breaking home, it wasn't no airlines.
Wasn't no airline going on.
We had to go to the airport.
Yeah, that's right. We headed to the airport. So he was headed to the airport because it said his flight.
Right. And I'm glad
but
you
I'm
plead
glad
that in.
you pointed that out. Because
It's the
it
imagery.
takes great wisdom to point that out. Because, and then the egg, and Egypt, just about, if you take that Y,
the sperm taking
hook
flight
it round,
image.
you got another G there. That'll be your egg. That'll
Right.
be egg land.
To egg land. Now, now this is the sperm taking flight as an imagery to egg land.
Yeah.
Building him a body to serve the Creator, to be with his Father. I and Father are one. Yeah. When you see me, you see the Father. It's talking about each of us as a self, creating ourselves.
Right on. And that's what is taking place, whether you realize it or not. But one other thing I like to point out also before we go any further in that verse, he was saying about the way in which he was protected from the wrath of evil men. I want to point that out. Evil men. Not just one. Do you see any today walking around amongst you? In an action that you might see if you even flash across the television screen, or whatever the case may be. Do you see any evil men amongst you? This is what I'm asking.
If I flash it across the television
screen.
So see,
we got to be protected.
See, the K.O.S. news, we got it right here, flashed across the TV screen. Right here. The people who lost their faith in all law. This is who you speaking on about the men. These are the people who lost their faith in all law and cursed all gods. And who, upon gaining their freedom, split into groups. So these groups now became institutions. This is what we know them today. These groups became institutions owned by these groups.
What you say?
And these groups were former priests. Remember the Magian priests?
Yeah.
The former priests and scribes.
And these groups are priests too.
See, these are the ones that Moses took from Eggland. Moses took from Eggland. We understand Moses, Musa, the waters of life, bringing them from death, the water breaking. See, all this is a cosmology rolled into a parable, allegory, myth, and fable.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
To steer all the people away from the one.
That's right. And that's what's going on.
All law.
That's correct.
And so now they have created all these institutions that got people splintered.
Yeah. Divided and splintered.
Creating a mental schizophrenia.
Yep, that's what they're doing.
That is now creating this right here, beginning to worship lesser gods.
Oh my goodness.
That's physical things. Demons and spirits. This is what's happened.
And mankind, and even they got it so bad that they ain't even worship a man. If the Vatican was to, or the Pope was to come over here, you see the people falling down on bending knees, bowing down. You see, this is just how deep this thing now got. And he can't walk the water. Okay, let's see. I think that's about it. I want to point out. Okay, all right. We'll move on to the next one. 8. Ravenna was entranced and asked to know the way to Nazareth, that he might go and honor such a one as Son of Allah. The rich man wanted to go and honor Today, you hit fast forward, this day and this time, the rich man have no respect for the righteous man. Nine, and with his gorgeous train, he journeyed and came to Nazareth of Galilee. Boy, now I mean that this rich man mean business. 10, he found the object of his search, engaged in building dwelling for the sons of men. Look what he did. Look what he found when he finally come among his presence. Look what he found. 11. And when he first saw Jesus, he was climbing up a 12-step ladder. Ooh-wee. And he carried in his hand a compass, a square, and an axe.
This is very good.
You can elaborate on that? Be my guest, because we had a lesson on the 12-step ladder, and people love to sing these spiritual hymns of singing that we are climbing Jacob's ladder. And it says that he was climbing up a 12-step ladder. This is what this ladder had, 12 steps on it.
Mm-hmm. 12. And that's another indication, because that's a repeat. Did we catch the repeat?
Yeah. The number 12.
12. Because we done covered it once.
Ascending 1 time.
Yep. And so now it come back in our forefront again. So that means it's very important that we understand Jacob's ladder.
Right on. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
So this Jacob ladder is none other than the spine.
Look at that. Look at that.
And the beautiful part of the spine has 12 levels.
Ain't that beautiful?
It's called the thoracic.
Look at that, the thoracic. Look at that. That sounds like Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah, this is why they try to fear. They use movies like that to bring in fear.
Jurassic and Jurassic.
To send out these elementals.
Yeah.
So now if you can see on the screen, I bring a bigger view up of what I
can see a little bit.
What of the spine.
Look at him. Oh,
and so when you see the 12-step ladder, this is the 12-step ladder right from the beginning of the diaphragm up to the top of the sternum, the collarbone. From there is T1 through T12, which is the thoracic part, which is the thoracic level, which is the consciousness
T1 to 12
of the whole entire being. So now this is what we mean when we read about the 12-step ladder. As below, so above.
Ooh.
The 12 is in the brain first. But this is how it's building up in eggland. So now when you go and climb up, you're climbing up to the throne of heaven. And above this T12, you have the 7 heavens. That's what in literature, religious tradition, this is where they scripting it from.
Yeah.
Man is the cosmic design blueprint plan. Everything that came into creation came from the understanding of what understanding the cosmic man.
Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that beautiful?
So this is why it's important to know self, and we know all law. So that square, that compass, and that axe, he ain't carried it for no reason.
He showed nothing. He got, seemed like to me, he know that he got a direction he need to go, and once he get there, the square, we know what we do with a square.
See, and the compass, that represents the purity.
Yeah.
This is, we going up the, how we get to the level of what we call life.
Yeah.
The compass represents purity. The circle, the square, and the compass is the spirit. When we say the spirit or the purity, that's the compass as the tool. When we're talking about the square, then we're talking about not purity. We're talking about now the purpose. The square indicates purpose. You finna construct with a purpose.
That's right.
And the axe is the instructions. You finna cut something. Meaning the level finna stop and you finna cross over to another higher degree. So to go to another higher degree, you have to cut the anchor from the shore to move to another shore. So when we bring in the axe, we have to understand we're cutting. We're cutting our way back into purity. Because this is what ultimately, as we manifest it out.
By like being in the jungle.
Yeah.
You have to cut your way through.
Right. All these years. That's like when you get older, you done created a jungle. That now you got to carve your way back through to the land of purity so you can return back to the heavens and not the egg. The egg is how we got here.
And all I could think about was all these lies of deception, and you got to cut your way out and through all that. Lies.
So make sure they check out the live so they can see the imagery if you checking out the video.
So they see that what you pull up about the spine. Okay, okay, beautiful. All right. Anything else want to suggest on that scripture there? So okay, we move forward. 12. Rabbana said, "All hail, most favorite son of heaven." And 13, and at the end, Rabbana made a feast for all the people of the time. And Jesus and his parents were honored guests. Rich man sure tight on his money today and this time. He don't believe in heaven and time. None at all. They got to be crooks. For certain days, Ravenel was a guest in Joseph's home on Marmion Way. He sought to learn the secret of the wisdom of the Son, but it was all too great for him. Ooh, he done met his. Look at him.
We're talking about the Sufian here. Let me make this clear.
We did, y'all do. I need to go back and read that. He sought to learn the secret, but go ahead, son.
Right, because I would be asking, what is it that he learned?
Yeah.
So I'm showing y'all what he learned. For those who seek in truth. And to learn to know thyself.
Mm-hmm.
So when we saying from what we reading, let me find the present. On 14,
yeah,
the secrets of the wisdom of the Son, and then the semicolon, and then but it was all too great for him. It's not that the wisdom wasn't declared. The wisdom was said. But when it goes beyond words, this is where it's too great.
Yeah.
And this is where the Sufian let us know, give us a great insight right here. The name that you would say the word great is a name of all law. Great is the seventh name of all law.
Look at that.
So he was given greater wisdom that was beyond the seven. Into the circle. We're talking purity, the highest plane of spirit life, where wisdom speaks from. So now we hear in Sufa 7, Musi 7, all that is great. Remember, this was the teaching he was learning. All that is great is so at the design and the hand of Allah, the Almighty, even unto the sun, the moon, all the celestial bodies. The greatness of all law extends beyond what we can see. That's what he referred to. But it was all too great for him. It goes beyond what you can see now. Words can't describe it because now it is that itself. And we're talking about purity. Words can't describe purity. And this is where, if you don't have the capacity to get to your greatest self, which is your purest self, then this wisdom becomes secret instead of sacred. Sacred, you live in it. Secret, you in fear of it. You in fear of yourself, blocked by ignorance of reaching your greatest self. While living. This is not while dying.
That's right.
While living.
Great. Cool. Get out.
The wealthy man know to go while he alive.
That's right. He ain't messing around, and he ain't messing around either.
Yes. And we was mentioning the name, Joseph's home.
Yeah. He went to Joseph's home.
Yes.
Did I pronounce that right? Marmion Way.
So now this is how we come into the understanding why the Sufa honors Joseph or Yusuf. Now check this out. Let the truth now be revealed concerning the great prophet and King Joseph. Now, who is Joseph? Jesus' father. Now, the Sufa acknowledges Joseph as Jesus' father, not coming from only begotten son or immaculate conception, known as the Son of God, and then the son that became God. So now we're talking about Joseph, his father. This is why they say he was a carpenter. This is all symbolic by Masons. You have to remember what Noble Drew Ali is bringing the public out in the open, what they doing behind closed walls. Number 5, may honor and peace be forever upon Joseph's name and Joseph's memory.
Sure did. I remember reading that.
Joseph was a holy king who sought to end the evil of the Persians. These are the Muslims. These are the Magians. The sacred king who refused the might of Mithra. Mithra is what people are practicing today as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
Whoa.
Joseph, this is how they eliminated Joseph in the text that support Mithraism and made Jesus come through some Holy Spirit so they can bring in the worship of Mithra. But see, Joseph wasn't with that. It was a no-go. Joseph was a beloved of all law and all true men. He was true and righteous and beloved by all law. So this is why we have to understand why that story get mixed up in the sauce. This is how you know you start worshiping the false. So, and then it's telling you about Marmion's way. So we know now there's only one way. And that's what? The Sufian
way. Right on.
See, so these the things that how they code, the Muslims code the teachings. To keep the more, because we're going to find out the true and the divine name of the more. Let's go to it. This is why the Moorish way or the Moorish science is called Al-Sufian. So Marmion goes back to this word Marab. So Marab is the ancient word of the modern word we hear today, Moors. Maraba. Yes. And this is what Joseph was as the holy king. So the holy kings or the highly kings was the Marab. The Marab was the first civilization and bringer of knowledge and wealth to Mesopotamia, Egypt, and Syria. That's to the east. From the west to the east. And now we're reading about they coming from the east, coming to the from the east, coming to the west. So this is what undeniable proof, know thyself. So that's the greatness. He's learning all about all law.
And then he asked that he might be the patron of the child, might take him to the abroad.
And that's where you read your what is it'll explain itself as we go.
Mm-hmm.
But Brahms, that's where you get the short word for Abraham. So the people who follow the teachings of the way of Abraham will call themselves Brahms or Brahman. See, and these are ancient codes from the Muslim, keeping their heritage, but they losing it because they not revealing it to publicly for the true people to come to their origin to really bring all the wisdom back to its unity, which is purity. But that's when you'll find the texts we have covered, like the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and the Vedas, the Vedas.
Yeah.
Those are considered Brahmic texts.
That's right.
Or they call it Hinduism, Buddhism. That's what they're referring to.
Yep. "16, and Jesus longed to go, that he might learn, and after many days his parents gave consent." His obedience. You just take up. 17, then with proud heart, Ravana with his train began the journey toward the rising sun. And after many days, they crossed the sand and reached the province of Orissa and the palace of the prince.
Now we're moving up the channels of the spine. So as you cross in the 12th, you're coming into another section. And now we're entering the section of the Orisha, which is a word for the brain, the cerebrium. So as we cross over the sands, the sands is the brain stem crossing into the cerebrum, which is we get the 5 loaves, where they get the 5 loaves of bread in the scripture.
Yeah, boy, I tell you, all I could think was how they people think they done went from being who they are to on the corners and shopping malls and all. When I think of I see you, I see how you, the Israelite, they be on the corner talking about the 12 tribes, and they talking about people. They talking about the honor, what the book and all done wrote about and talking about. And now they can't get past that. When we talking about the inner, the higher.
That's why they say let the blind lead the blind, and let the dead bury the dead.
I see why too.
Because we talking about making it into the palace.
Oh, yes.
Or we were saying the Sufian, paradise.
Yes, indeed.
See, and this is paradise is entering the brain. Says you will find your place in paradise. You will share in the prosperity of your divine creator. Allah will direct them to the path of paradise. So once again, that's what it looks like. See, it's not how, look at the color on the screen. You see how it's golden up at the top? It widened out from you crossing the sand into a palace.
Yeah.
And that's the brain.
Like that look like the sun.
And that's the sun. This is what all this is symbolizing.
Yeah.
The consciousness represents the sun, and the sun represents purity. Seeing as purity, that is seeing all, being all. The whole body, from the body all the way back up.
Man and woman body is amazing.
We amazing.
You can't even find the word to express that, man.
This is why beautiful.
Yes.
Great. Well, we use the names of Allah to express His creation. This ain't nothing that we made. We just express what's already here.
Yeah, that's right.
It's easy.
We made.
The tongue twister is the one making it complex.
We designed.
Right. We have our own name for the sun. We have our own name for everything that society has created through Kabbalah magic, which is wisdom magic, to form our away from the creator names into these company names.
Yeah.
So this is why people don't know none of this stuff no more, and they know companies. This is what have replaced the knowledge of self. Is the knowledge of the companies, because they got all this knowledge that self needs. You got to go there instead of go to self. So they took this knowledge and this is what they done with it. They used it as magic on us. They took this wisdom and they used it as magic on us. So now at their highest level, they use the most wicked form of tricknology, which is wisdom magic. And this is why you have to be wise to decode they magic. Because their magic is to imitate and mask the divine. So we be trapped and not ascend towards the rising sun.
Right on. That's right. That's the trap.
Yep, number 18.
18. The Brahmic priests were glad to welcome home the prince. With favor, they received the Jewish boy. 19. And Jesus was accepted as a pupil in the temple of Jagannath. And here he learned the Vedas and the Manic law. Last one, 20. The Brahmic masters wonders at the clear conception of the child and often were amazed when he explained to them the meaning of the law. Ain't that beautiful? Amazing. How could a child know so much?
Same way that we get to know so much. Because remember, he had great teachers as mothers and fathers. His father was a king. His mother was a higher self. So he was born into a grandiose of understanding. So when we're talking about, this is why the history is so a mystery and distorted, but now we have it all whole and intact. Everything makes sense and everything is clearly conceived. And the temple of Jagannath, that's where you hear the word juggler.
Look at it.
The juggler vein.
Look at him.
That's the temple of Jagannath. This is where the temple, where we say the man has a temple. So he made it into the brain as a pupil. And he learned there the Vedas, that's the way of the holy breath. And then he learned the way of the maniac law, which is the way of the lower self. So the maniac law in the Sufa is the Romans. Just put R-O-N in front of it and you got what you need. Roman. So the maniac law is the Roman law. The Roman law is the worship of Satan law. So he had both understandings of God and Satan. Just like we supposed to have the knowledge of self, where you have the knowledge of self, which is the knowledge of others, knowledge of God, knowledge of Satan, and knowledge of both worlds. The devil's world and God worlds. These are two different worlds. We have to know both worlds, just as Jesus knew both worlds, because he came from both worlds. One world represents Lower Egypt, and the other world, and the one world represents the Upper Egypt. So we're talking about the lower egg parts and the upper egg parts. This is how we come to be and why we have chromosomes and genetics. So when we're talking about Manes, these are the exiled pharaohs who was betrayed by his own people, who chose the Manes of the swamp. And this is where the tomb pyramids were robbed. The slaves forced to rob the tombs of their ancestors for the Romans as the false pharaoh of the Rams. So when you hear the Ramses, this is what was going down in Egypt while their children were sacrificed for their blood. All these are the same people worshiping Satan. This is why you will hear the story about Jesus fleeing and going to a whole nother part. So it's important that we understand and know both of those realities. Now, that's chapter 7. That's chapter 6. Let's go to see where. Let's go to the streaming or to see any. Bring our bro. I still ain't heard nothing. Hey, is your mic muted?
No, that's right, man. We ain't heard nothing yet from none of them.
Is it? I say it ain't muted. Hello. No, it's because say it's not muted right there. He say he's speaking. Am I heard? No.
Because I thought they were live and tuning in too. Before we get him talking. Yeah. And wake up.
Say something now.
Peace. Can we hear?
No, I don't think.
Oh, he said he can hear us. I can
But we
see his
can't hear
motion.
Yeah, okay.
So is it the computer?
It's the
We
You
can't
hit
hear
mute
him
right
then.
here. And unmute that. Oh,
no,
maybe
it's
it's
the speaker.
okay. Well, we might.
Can you hear us? Oh, you can hear us.
Oh yeah, we trying to get the spatial sounds. Yes, we didn't. See, it's through stereo. Let's see, just right here. Click on that. Make on. So it's either our voice either coming through here or it's coming through YouTube.
No, but it's fine.
The streaming platform. Did it say speaker drive?
No, this.
Yeah.
No, this.
Yeah, that's playing. We got sound.
No, this must be streaming out.
Yeah, stream.
That's all this now.
Like layout. Peace. Is any of this working?
No, it's saying it's saying it's working.
So that's is chapter 6. Understanding what's going on in India. And the wisdoms in between. He said, hold on, let me remove him from the thing. Yeah, we tried. I wonder, is that working?
Yet.
Okay, I tried. Remove it.
We could talk. We could hear them. They can hear us. But they can hear us. We can't hear them.
He's on something else.
Hmm?
He's on something else right now.
Got to be. But they still can't hear us. They can hear us.
He can hear us.
Okay.
It's just we can't hear him.
Okay. Well, if you can hear us.
That's what I'm gonna do. So yes, get that message in duo. Or we finna get on another way. I'm gonna shut this one down. Peas. Oh, finally, there goes some output. Hey, yeah. Yes, there we go. Hey, yep. Hey, yep, that was yes. Hey, we in action now. Let's see.
I figure you might have had something to say.
Let me get the volume up.
Yeah. Oh, this good talk.
Mm-hmm.
Laying down.
Mm-hmm.
Man must look within himself. Man, no, man, we don't need, we too busy trying to get to Jericho.
Hey, yes. Because you see, our people.
They playing mind and story game and myth and.
What's honest is that people lie so much that they lie. Yeah. Who is telling the truth today?
That's right.
Besides me.
That's right.
I'm responsible for what I'm saying, and I'm
right.
responsible for what I'm doing.
You're gonna be charged with it.
Why people are not having this understanding? It ain't no one to blame but self.
That's right.
Self has been distracted with other than the truth. If you have truth, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
This is what it sounds like. This is what it sees like.
Yeah.
It ain't, you don't know.
Yeah.
So when our people don't know, they are fools upon themselves. Mm-hmm. Because when you choose to not know for yourself and know that you don't know, and you choose to act like you don't know why you don't know, this is called ignorance.
Right on.
And this is what the Sufian is against. Yeah. The Sufian is anti-ignorance. You're responsible for your own learning. You're responsible for your own doing. Just like you're responsible for sinning, you're responsible for your own cleansing.
Right on.
And so this is what has been stolen by the wisdom magic. But I'm going to stop it right there so we can hear our beautiful brother. And then you can take on chapter 7 as well after you finish bringing your wisdoms.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to go back to the knowledge. Super 25, the 23rd name of Allah. And it speaks of true Muslims respect signs, the greatest of all gifts.
There you go.
Who follows evil men, which we all have been following.
There
From
you
day
go.
one.
That's right.
We all have been following from day one because
that's right.
You exercise your other senses and go to some other literature.
Mm-hmm.
Pull up the lost keys of masonry.
Mm-hmm.
What they think of.
Mm-hmm.
The Masonic Lodge is a mystery school.
It's a mystery.
You just spoke. Ain't no mystery.
There you go. Truth be told.
There is no secret. The secret is. And the secret is to reveal the secrets of the universe.
There you go. There you go.
To know how to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
So, man,
that's it.
I was holding that.
Praise the Lord.
Because, man, it also speaks, man, just real quick, because you spoke on the Trinity. So, I'm going to tell you how, I'm going to show the people how the tricksters have been doing for so long.
Centuries.
Long time.
Masonry is a religion which is essentially creedless.
Ooh. Creedless.
I know our divine prophet. Peace be upon him.
Peace be upon him.
Spoke.
Divine creed. That's the study.
But it says creedless.
There you go.
All right.
So that means that's the light that belongs to the devils.
Correct.
Uh-oh.
It's a mystery school. A place where candidates are taken out of follies, instructed into mystery.
Ooh, come on with it.
The mystery of life.
In identity, that germ. Come on now, germ now. Spiritual essence in them. Now, if I remember correctly, germs make you sick, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Germs is no.
That's right. Why do you think everybody's sick?
In truth,
Oh.
the Son of God, beloved of his Father.
Ooh.
So the tricksters are swapping true light to give you trickology, trick knowledge.
There you go. You said it. They swapping. Good key word I heard. Ooh, powerful.
Now.
Chapter 7.
Oh, one moment.
Oh, we finna do chapter 7. No. Let it go ahead on. Cause we got a long way to go.
Okay, we at 1:25. So yeah, we'll be closing our meeting at 2:00. So yeah, let's continue on chapter 7.
Okay. The friendship of Jesus and Llama. Jesus explains to Llama the meaning of truth. Sufian, among the priests of Jacqueline, was one who loved the Jewish boy. Llamas was the name by which the priest was known. So, one day, as Jesus and Llamas walked along in Plaza Jacqueline, Llama said, "My Jewish master, what is truth?"
Ooh, good question, Shay. Good question.
What is truth? And Jesus said, truth is the only thing that changes not.
So now,
In all the world.
huh?
I thought somebody was speaking. Okay.
Yeah.
In all the world, there are two things. The one is truth, and the other is falsehood. And falsehood, that which seems to be. So falsehood is not. It just seems to be.
Okay. You
Now,
said
truth is almost. It has no cause. Yet it is the cause of everything. Falsehood is not. And yet it is the manifest of right.
Woo, let's start right there.
Yes, sir.
I know we got some enlightenments from that. Because if this is our first time, we never heard it like this. Oh, look.
Truth and falsehood.
Yes. If we
say in all the world,
bring it home.
There are two things. And when I look at the 73 years that when I came on the scene, this is what I discovered. Falsehood and truth. And somebody lied. For some reason, they told a lie and said how this country was discovered. Now, my suggestion to you is that if somebody tell you a big old lie like that, do you think they'll tell you another lie? And do you think that they will lie about the truth? if he lied about a discovery and it was wrongful? Just a question asked. So that tells us we better be careful who we listening to.
Wisdom is, as it read in the first chapter, wisdom speaks from the highest plane of life.
Mm-hmm.
So when anyone opens their mouth, that's called speaking.
Mm-mm.
So when you speak, if wisdom is not flowing out, then all who is wise, remember it takes wisdom to be wise.
That's right.
To be wise, you must first get wisdom. Until you get wisdom, you don't supposed to open your mouth. This is why you was learning why the intelligence of Esau was so unfiltered and pure. We have to understand the grand teachings about silence. In silence, you was made. This is why they say you was born, you was made in the temple, not made with hands. Without the sound of a hammer, without the sound of nails. Without sound,
how about that?
Is called silence. And you will see when it's called silence, the greatest silence is silent thought. So when we are talking about wisdom, wisdom is from love. Wisdom is from purity. So when one opens their mouth, this is why you don't see anything, but you hear it. But what you're hearing is real. Just as if they were flicking things out of their mouth, if their mouth was hand and they were throwing stuff at you, you would see that and feel that same way with words. So now we're talking about the tree of life brings about purity. The tree of knowledge or the tree of good and evil bring about death, unbalance, this way or that way. So now when we understand that truth changes not, this is the fortitude of you building yourself. This is not for them. They ain't never told you truth and never will. This is for you to understand what you need to know for self, and if you are seeking for truth. Everybody this day and age ain't seeking for truth.
Sure. We know that for a fact.
So the one seeking shall find. So asking the right questions, meaning one is on a quest. And so when one is on a quest, that means they need to be asking a speaker of wisdom. Because as it said, what ruins the way of Absalom? Errors of the scholar. Errors of the scholar. That's people who have written things that we just read and said that are in error. No matter what order, anything secret is not revealing the universe. So we're talking about man should know the secrets of the universe when man opened his mouth. Not what's going on last week. This is called falsehood, that which changes. I'm focused on what changes not. What changes not is the same thing that Isaiah said that would set you free. And that was the only thing that would set you free was truth. But you had to know the truth meaning you had to be the truth, meaning you had to become wise to recognize wisdom. To recognize wisdom is to know if the speaker is wise or dumb. This is the basic simplicity of wisdom. When one speaks, was that wise or was that dumb? Would you do it? Is that wise or is that dumb? And so if you get hurt, pain, anything that is of the lower self that harms, this is a thought form. And a thought form can be spoken. So when we understand purity is also something that you could go into as thought. This is where you reach infinite wisdom. Mm-hmm. It said, man, raise your thoughts to infinite wisdom. Mm-hmm. Now, this ain't the conversation of the black man today. This ain't the conversation the black man having with his black woman. This ain't the conversation the black man having with his black woman and his black child.
Ain't that a shame?
He talking to him about sports.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Look at that.
Chore.
Look at that.
Do this, do that.
Look at that.
But are you freeing your black woman? Are you freeing your black child?
Yes, indeed.
Because this is the conditions of the day when we're talking about red alert. Mm-hmm. If we don't pay attention to the red alert, there's going to be a cold blue. Mm-hmm. And cold blue represents the dying soul. Mm-hmm. Cold blue. Our black children, our black babies are dying out here.
Look at
this. Is no time
young man
to be half-stepping. Mm-hmm. Our black woman is confused. Mm-hmm. This is no time to be half-stepping. The black man don't know who he is besides the other man telling him who he is. This is not the condition. Mm-hmm. Originally, every black child came from black man and woman that know themselves. So the knowledge of self was always, as Jesus was born in it, was always born with it. But since the parents picked up falsehood, remember, falsehood is the manifest of right, meaning that it exists, but it's going to show you that you're not right. The only reason falsehood exists is to show you the truth. Yeah. We need to go in on this. The only reason falsehood exists is to show you the truth. To show you that the falsehood can manifest just as the truth can manifest. But if you don't pay attention to who you are, which is truth, then you become false. You start picking up ways of other people, letting other people tell you what you should be, and do not. Yeah. These things have to be known for our people coming up in this new generation where technology ain't telling you. That's right. That's correct. It's up to the black man and the black woman to tell the black babies of their greatness.
Right on.
Not of any weakness, of your greatness of who you are. Right. Why you got a brain? Why you got a spine?
I was telling the sister last night.
You wasn't born no slave. You came from the Creator.
I was telling the sister last night that
I come as the parent. If I was a parent, I come from the Creator. This is what the parents should be doing.
Yes, indeed.
For the child to know where they come from, the parents must know where they come from.
Yeah.
If they think they the Almighty, then we don't have it. That's called falsehood made manifest. Yeah. We're talking about the holy breath, that which created all souls, and that all souls existed together in another place, that we had to come to a different place in order to understand that we was once in a place. Now this is real deep. Oh, yeah. And I'm gonna or go back into the peace of mind as the brother inclined.
Oh yeah. Falsehood. And we're seeing that being carried out and pushed daily.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it in everybody's conversation. Mm-hmm. All I hear is falsehood. Mm-hmm. No truth in it. Mm-hmm. Just spoke a whole sentence and no truth in it. Mm-hmm. Just wasting words and time and energy with falsehood.
That remind me of that elder we was with. Remember she said something about truth. She's like, people don't speak truth.
What?
All they do is...
Elder said that?
Yeah.
She recognized that.
And that's why the new generation here, the new generation finna stop.
Right on.
You finna stop all that
chipping,
chat.
I'm so happy.
You finna know what you say or don't say what you don't know.
Right on. Shut your mouth.
Because it's time. This is why the babies are suffering.
Right on.
As we said, what ruins our salon is the errors of the scholars.
That's right.
What's next? The disputations. The conversations of hypocrites.
Yeah.
Stop letting hypocrites control your reality. Mm-hmm. You're going to let someone not doing the word come tell you how the word is done. You're going to tell one that you know is a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And tell you the truth.
The hypocrite.
This is how our salon, this is why Islam, if black man and black woman don't protect and know and learn themselves, they cannot do for their black child. And their black child would be alligator's food like the past.
Alligator, that ain't good news.
They used to throw the black baby to the alligator.
Sure did. I've seen the tape on that Uncle Tom Cat.
So now this technology is the new alligator. This internet is the mouth for the alligator. Mm-hmm. The alligator represent Anubis. Anubis represent the abyss. Mm. We got to understand falsehood. All those who believe in lie and become liars will go to the abyss. Mm. You have to testify of the truth in order to make it to paradise. Mm-hmm. So if you had 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, those are testaments. Those are testimonies. And if one ain't testified that the Creator has came in their life and did magnificent things, then we don't know who the Creator is, was, or ever will be. Because truth got to be in self. Just like the liar is in self.
Right on. And
so this is why I love it down here. When people speak and open their mouth, because it shows you who everything and what everything is. Mm-hmm. See, purity don't rewrite history. Mm-hmm. Purity don't reinvent the real. Purity don't recreate the Creator. Mm-hmm. Purity is as is. And what purity is why truth exists. And I pause for the call.
Okay, you can take back on. What number are we on?
07. Whatever has been made will be unmade. That which begins must end. All things that can be seen by human eyes are manifest, all are known, and so must pass away. 9. The things we see are but reflexes just appearing while the ethers vibrate so and so. And when conditions change, they disappear. Is that which was and is Am I still heard?
Okay, I was about to say,
No,
yes, sir.
Way to do it. Time cut off.
Is we still there?
Am I still heard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. 11. Laman said, "You counsel well. Now what is man?" And Jesus said, Esau said, "Man is true and falsehood, strangely mixed."
Beautiful.
Let's get God and devil, right?
Hey, let's get the Q-tip. Let's go in.
God and devil. Right there.
Man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined in him. And they strive, and naught goes down, and man as truth abides. Again, Lamas asked, "What do you say of power?" And Jesus said, "It is a manifest, is the result of force. It is, but not. It is illusion. Nothing more. Forces change, not, but power changes as the eagles change." Force is the will of all law and is omnipotent.
Oh, let's stop right there. Ooh, wee, boy, you said a lot of wisdom out the cabin. You said man. Let's start with that where it say man.
It's the breath.
Woo. Woo. Man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined. So this is where we talking about how do we separate
the bad guy.
Yes, the good guy and the bad guy. I say the good cop and the bad cop. How we separate these two? By speaking. This is why we have to understand why they say when the Creator created, he spoke. But we have to understand man. Because man is the only creature that can talk, and he's the only one that can talk both ways. Truth and falsehood.
How about that? He can tell you a lie, that's right, the will of truth.
He can talk both ways. Hey, we have to understand what's going on here. See, man is the breath, but man is not the holy breath. The holy breath is pure truth.
Yeah.
So this is what man has to become in his decision making. He has to become opposite of what falsehood is. These things are mixed in him, creating what he speaks, and what he speaks comes from how he thinks. And how he thinks refer back to the two selves. So as we read about in chapter 3 of the Moorish Holy Quran, we have the unity of life, the higher self and the lower self. In the Sufian, we have the two inclinations. One prompting him to good, impelling him to. The other, this is Sufa 44, the evil. So that strangely mixed, this is the part, the evil, that man must conquer.
Yeah.
This is the self that man must conquer. This is his evil self.
Yeah.
Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Austin Powers. Dr. Evil is your evil self. Austin Powers is your omnipotent self, the will that the great brother getting over to with the force. But as we bring forth, remember, the
It's
truth
just
is
the
what changes.
inclination.
Hmm.
It's just the inclination as well. Not saying that it is based on the Sufian.
Oh, so Steve, that's why I was like,
No, I'm just saying. It was just the inclination. Not saying it is you.
yeah, it's not you. Let's go to, let's see, Ken. Because on this screen, the people see it.
It's inclining to. Good or bad.
So, as the beautiful sister pointed out, inclination is not you, it's what you are deciding.
Beautiful.
You are inclining to do.
Beautiful.
Are you inclined or influenced to do good?
Uh-oh.
Speak good, speak wisdom, or to speak the falsehood?
Well said, pointed out.
That which is strangely mixed, and that which must pass away. This is very key qualities. Remember, truth is the cause of everything. The lying and the falsehood. So as we continue on 16.
Force is the will. Force is the will of Allah. It is omnipotent. And power is that will and manifest, directed by the breath. There is power in the wind, a power in the waves, a power in lightning stroke, a power in the human arm, a power in the eye. The ethers cause these powers to be. And the thoughts of Elohim, of angel, man, or thinking things, directs the force. When he has done his works, the power is no more. Again, Lotus asks of understanding, what have you to say? And Esau said, it is the rock on which man builds himself. It is the gnosis. It is to know of the alt and the naught, of falsehood and truth. It is the knowledge of the lower self, the sensing of powers of man himself. Again, Lomas asks, of wisdom, what have you to say?
He just spoke.
Hey, what wisdom have to say? Hey,
The baby just spoke.
Hey, see, that's saying.
Look at him. Look at him.
We on all forms. See, that's so beautiful that we covering that right there. And how it just manifested on the plane of manifest. Yes.
Again, Lomas asks, of wisdom, what have you to say? And Jesus said, it is the consciousness that man is alt, that Allah and man are one. The naught is naught. The power is but illusion. That heaven and earth and hell are not above, around, but below. But in which in light of all becomes the naught, and Allah is all. Romans asks, pray, what is faith? And Jesus said, faith is the surety of the omnipotence of Allah and man. The certainty that man will reach the deific life. Salvation, it was the louder. Salvation is a louder, reaching from the heart of man to the heart of Allah. It has 3 steps. Belief is first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is true. And faith is next, and this is what man knows is true. Fruition is last, and this is man himself, the truth. Belief is lost in faith, and in fruition, faith is lost. And man is saved when he has reached the epic life, when he and Allah are one.
All right.
Is that not that's the meaning of truth? And is truth a name of Allah? So we are getting the meaning of all Allah. As it says, Allah is all. So they have us worshiping something that you're supposed to be the fruition of. This is where the conundrum comes in for the chooser. Are you going to choose to live the deific life? Or are you going to choose to worship other men who reach deific life? As fruition is lost when man and Allah are one. This is called being saved. When the holy breath and the breath is one. We have to leave belief where most adults are still at. So the children is only as perfect as the adults are. So faith is the next step after belief. In order for faith to exist, belief has to not exist. Belief is lost in faith. Faith meaning you know. So you know you got to use the bathroom. And to prove you got that faith, you bring it to fruition. You using the bathroom. So as the low, so as the high. Become and live the deific life, or worship others who have lived that deific life. So for me, that's peace of mind and love divine. And now, any closing remarks? Because this was beautiful for us, for myself.
Oh, definitely beautiful to be amongst those of truth.
Woo. That's right.
Ooh. Ooh. To have a whole community where its foundation is 101 pure truth. 101, they say per sin. That's the 101. the pure truth.
All right.
So I enjoyed it, family, community. It's 2:00. The rest on you. And so we're going to say peace and love to all as we close our meeting in the name of Allah. Wadu.
My picture fly.